We are on a mission to save and revitalize independent pharmacy.
On the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast, you'll get actionable business advice.
Hear stories from industry leaders,
And share a laugh or two with us.
Fuel your passion for pharmacy.
one conversation at a time.
Mike Matovich, welcome from Montana Family Pharmacies and from the big sky state of Montana, right?
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
So what's the weather like there today for you?
It's about 25 degrees.
That ain't bad. It's a balmy. I'm surprised you're not in a short sleeve shirt.
40, I think, today. So
yeah,
we are snow covered.
40 is balmy in Montana because like I've been up there skiing and it was 30 and I was like, oh, that's cold. And it was my first time up there. And I'm sitting there unzipping my jacket because I'm like, I am burning up on this mountain.
Yeah, well, you see like Chad with Family Pharmacies.
He was in a t-shirt.
I don't think he has a long sleeve shirt. I don't think
he was in a t-shirt.
We have a big sky. It's 15, 20 degrees outside, and he's walking outside in a t-shirt on, and we're like,
oh, we saw one guy who was carrying his skis, and he's in shorts and a t-shirt, and I'm like,
that's
you
brown
couldn't
fat.
pay me.
That's brown fat. It works for you. If you did,
if it's over 30, they're going to be in a t-shirt on the mountain.
Yeah,
that's how you stay cool on the mountain.
There was one year, I'll never forget this. Like, we were getting ready for the Montana Pharmacy Association. It was January. Up in the hotel room, and all of a sudden, I start hearing people screaming down there. And I look out, and it's a
screaming
bus.
like somebody's killing me, or screaming.
That's what
like,
I thought. That's
okay.
what I thought. That's what I initially thought. And then I look out the window of my hotel room where you could see like the Swift Current and Ram Charger, and there's these kids who are like ripping their clothes off, getting on the ski lift, and then skiing or snowboarding down in like their swimsuits. And I'm like, nope.
Mike's acting like that's normal.
That's normal.
Well, you have to come up for the pond skim sometime at the end of the year where they actually create a pond
I've seen the
down by
videos.
Swift Current.
Yeah, I've seen the videos.
And you can ski or snowboard across the pond.
But that's March or so. It's warmer, hey? Is that?
Yeah, it's usually in April.
Yeah, April.
Have you done that?
Yeah. No, I like to watch it, but I've never done it. I've had some friends do it, and most of them have crashed.
There's something kind of wrong about how he said. He's like, no, I like to watch it.
Yeah. When you do watch it, you'll understand why. It's pretty entertaining.
Is it really? Lots of slipping.
Yeah.
We saw some video on that or something like that.
There's videos on TikTok and on Instagram, and like some of the people, like they don't make it across and they ended up just sinking, and I'm like, that's too cold.
So Montana is moving for after, 9 years at Big Sky.
Mm-hmm.
Moving their show to something Springs, I guess the other way.
Hot Springs.
Hot Springs?
Probably Fairmont Hot Springs.
Yes. Fairmont Hot Springs.
Yeah.
So what's that like?
It's a pretty cool place. Nothing like Big Sky, I'll tell you that right now.
Okay.
I think they're just getting priced out of Big Sky, unfortunately.
Aren't we all?
So, yeah, that's what we say here in Montana. The billionaires are pushing out the millionaires in Big Sky. And so, unfortunately, our association has to move as well. But Fairmont the hot springs are phenomenal. The pool system they have is phenomenal. There is a ski mountain about 30, 40 minutes from there as well. So it's a nice place. You'll enjoy it.
Yeah, we missed you guys this year. We missed the Montana Family Pharmacy group at
We saw
the
Christy.
Montana. Yeah, we saw Christy.
Yep.
But there was no Mike, no Twyla. Didn't get to see your kids. I bet they've grown.
Well, that's the problem. They've entered high school and they're in basketball.
Oh my
gosh. And I also.
Oh, that's right. You're coaching.
I started coaching too. So we had a game that Friday and Saturday. So it's going to be tough the next 4 or 5 years for me to make that event if it's the same weekend.
So, well, it's later. It's like 2 weeks later, I think now, next year. So the kids, is there something that you say a lot? If we asked your basketball team, we said, is it Coach Mike? Is that Coach Mike, Coach M, Coach Mike?
Yeah.
All right. So we said, hey, what does Coach Mike say all the time? What would they say?
Oh, that's a good question. Probably shoot the ball.
Shoot the ball.
If you're open, shoot the ball.
Take that. If you're open, take that shot. I like that. So, 2023.
Yes.
Independent pharmacy. If you're open, take the shot. What does that mean?
Yeah, that's a good question right now. I think 2023 is going to be interesting because I think you're going to see just a fundamental shift in what pharmacies are doing altogether. The writing's on the wall. We have to find other revenue streams, and the PBM battle, I think, is kind of we'll let that be, and let's tackle what we can control. I think the cool thing with independent pharmacy is we still really care about patients, and you're seeing that lost in the chains. You're seeing employers come through saying we don't want to have a preferred network where we could only go to CVS or Walgreens because our employees aren't getting the care that they need. So hopefully we'll see some fundamental shifts there. And that's the value prop that, that pharmacy needs to have, is just how we care for patients and what we can do on that front. And so I think you'll see us continue to expand into functional medicine and more consulting. Just the more problems PBMs create by limiting care, the more opportunities pharmacy will have. So I'm kind of, we're almost doubling down on that to just say, if we continue to approach patient care the right way, provide services, and make sure we have to start charging for our services. Everyone always talks about that. We got to get provider status. We got to do this. I don't believe that. I mean, it would obviously help us a lot for billing insurance, but I know you can go direct to employer and set up consulting services for their patients. And if you can show them the return on investment, there's so many studies out there showing the return on investment. For every dollar spent in disease state management, there's ROI up to $20 per dollar spent. And a lot of that's subjective. It really depends. Are you truly preventing a heart attack or
it's hard
preventing an amputation?
Right. Hard to get paid for what didn't happen. So what do you think about the memberships? Kind of like the gym memberships. You talk about what Kyle's talking about up at Blueberry, where you have a monthly fee, and that covers, because we have Amazon. Everybody, if you haven't heard, $5. You get a bunch of these access to a bunch of cheap drugs. You're probably only on one or two of them. They're drugs that are 30 cents for 30 probably. But there's going to be no counseling, no relationship, no nothing going on with that. You got to have to count on getting that something else. So, what about the idea of independent pharmacy having a $40 a month that covers a suite of drugs, but also includes some type of touch bases or some type of things? Y'all playing with any of that kind of thing, kind of the gym membership model in a way?
Yeah, in fact, this will be a little bit of a teaser. Maybe in a few months we can do another podcast.
Okay.
Because we are in pilot right now with a program like that. So until we kind of figure out the pilot, I don't want to go into a lot of details today.
Okay.
But yeah, we actually think we have a game changer for a membership type service.
Nice.
And it focuses on what the patients are really wanting. Just that more time with a healthcare provider. They want more what's really happening. I don't want to go in with a symptom and be prescribed a drug and have another symptom caused from that drug and then be prescribed another drug. Because the doctors just don't have time to do any root cause analysis. It's all just, hey, take this, come back and see me in 6 months. And the patients are tired of that. They want answers.
My wife's dad is in assisted living, and switching to assisted living switched the pharmacy, and it is a constant battle. My wife fortunately has a little bit of a healthcare background. She's an occupational therapist, but always a constant to keep it right. Yeah. He got who took him off his blood thinner. He has congestive heart failure. Where's his Lasix or whatever, that got off.
That's also been a little bit of the doctor comes in, Kelly's not there, and the doctor comes in and he's giving bad information and his wife's giving bad information because she's been to some of the appointments where her mom answers and she goes, "No, Mom, that's not right." And so I've been at the doctor's office with my grandparents, and my grandpa goes to say something, or no, it was my mom. My mom had just come out of surgery, and they kept giving her insulin because they're like, her blood sugar's low. So we gave her insulin, but it's still dropping. And I'm standing there, and she's fresh out of surgery, and I'm going, Mom, refresh my memory here, but didn't a doctor tell you that you were insulin resistant a few years ago? Uh-huh. And then I'm like, didn't that doctor also tell you that you were borderline diabetic? Uh-huh. And the nurse is going, oh, crap, I got to go tell the doctor. So it's also the patients giving misinformation.
But that's not, I mean, the pharmacy might could fix that, but maybe from having followed that patient for a while. But this in a specific case is that assisted living moved to a different pharmacy. And my wife noticed one drug was a little bit more expensive. And it was like, why didn't you fill this one? Well, nobody asked for it. Nobody requested it to be filled. Okay.
Yeah.
Why didn't you call me and say, hey, this is on the profile. Is he supposed to be getting it? Didn't you look at it? So there really is a need. And maybe that's, a lot of times I think long-term care gets into a mode of thinking, full long-term care. There's a doctor managing them all the time, and they send a list to request a refill, but kind of in assisted living is kind of in the middle, so it's not being followed the same way. But you could really...
Good point.
You could totally see where she could use somebody an hour a month to just look over everything that's going on and say, is this right? And I think she'd pay for it.
Oh yeah, I think you're absolutely right. And we do some disease state management programs in partnership with the University of Montana School of Pharmacy. And one of the feedbacks we get, probably the most common one, is, I wish my parents could be on this program.
Right.
And it's a direct to employer model where the employer is paying for the disease state management. And those are the type of models that we need in Medicare. The Medicare program and what they're trying to do with MTM and the way it's set up just isn't working. And they need to have a foundational shift within Medicare on how that service is provided. It needs to be more constant touch points, dedicated people to have face-to-face conversations with these people. It's tough sometimes over the phone to understand where they are. So I think you'll continue to see a shift to that. The other problem you have with assisted living, and this is long-term care, everywhere you go, is the employee market. And everybody's got new employees. And so do they understand, have they been trained properly to understand how to put in all the orders to get all the medications from the pharmacy back to the facility? Yep. So that's going to be a constant battle over the next couple of years as well. You're going to continue to see employees shift. We're actually seeing an uptick in that again as employees are this time of year rethinking everything. It's a new year, and where do I want to be, and what do I want to do? And we're seeing more applications come in, and seeing employees kind of searching. So it's a little bit of both, but it's been nice to see a lot more applications come in over the past probably just 2 weeks.
So what about any kind of models where you're seeing specialty manufacturers want to go direct to the pharmacy? They're trying to, or like you see some models where there's ACOs who are buying the medication and paying the pharmacy to dispense it, where they're on risk sharing. Are you doing a lot of anything where you're going at risk? No. We haven't seen much of that, at least in our area. I've heard about it, seen some other areas trying to do it, but hasn't been something that we've had anyone outreach or we've actively pursued either in our area. I think a lot of it, specialty, is just, that ship kind of came and sailed, and we don't even want to get involved in it at too much of a level anymore because the reimbursements aren't there. If the right model comes along to get involved, but it's hard to dispense $5,000 medications and
only get $10 on it.
$100.
Yeah.
We'll actually lose money or have a DIR fee that comes back retroactive, and you're underwater and you're still at risk of an audit. And so
what about cash? What about cash specialty like Ozempic or something along those lines?
Well, just trying to get Ozempic right now for our diabetic patients is challenge enough. So, and there's a lot of markets. I know a lot of pharmacies that are doing really well with that. But I'm not seeing a lot of that in Montana.
Everybody's skinny up there because they got brown fat. They don't need Ozempic. For those of you who don't know, there's a lot of off-label use of Ozempic for weight loss today. But probably not everybody's just outside in their T-shirts.
Yeah, there's probably more prescriptions going out for weight loss than there is for diabetes right now. And that's creating a huge strain on the market.
Interesting.
Because the pharmacies that are doing that are just gobbling it all up. Most of the wholesalers have it on allocation, so that helps.
And like Elon Musk tweeted out, oh yeah, this is the drug I used to lose all this weight. And then that even marked it up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that doesn't help.
Yeah, well, they've come out with there was one right before that was a W word, what?
Don't ask me drug names.
I don't know. Not a pharmacist. But I think there's a couple of those that are out there that come in out there in the weight loss. I think you're going to see more and more cash models where, today most independent pharmacies could fill cash prescriptions for people less than their copay almost across the board. But it's the brands they don't want to deal with. You hear lots of people saying, though, that brand rebates are going to go away and that whole kind of deal is going to shift. The manufacturers are really thinking, the manufacturers are unhappy as well. A brand drug.
Yeah, they've put themselves in a bad situation where they've let the PBMs really start to control them. The rebate aggregators have gotten so large. You have Prime Therapeutics, Express Scripts, and Kroger all aggregating together. And so when they go back to the manufacturer, they control so many lives, the manufacturer has no choice but to try to play ball with them and to get them on the formularies. And so the PBM's done a wonderful job for their business model. I won't say it may be a wonderful job for healthcare and pharmacy, but for what their goal is and what their model is, they've really cornered a market and created all the power to manipulate and push it where they want it to go. So yeah, I think manufacturers are going to really have to fundamentally look at shifting. If they want to get out of that, they'll have to just say enough with the rebates. And if they did, our price would actually probably be less than Canada's on brand name drugs.
Wow.
Rebates are easily 50 to 75% of the cost of the drug right now.
Well, I mean, there's a reason that the PBMs are some of the most profitable. I mean, top 3 in the top? I mean, just, really, they're all in like the top, 50 companies in the world or something. I mean, they're making that money somewhere. Yeah. But y'all have been more insulated in Montana from some of that, right? Because there's not as many pharmacies, so there's you have a little bit more control of your contracts. Is that still true?
A little bit. We can get rural rates. Some of them we can negotiate the DIR fees out. Some of them we can't. Really just depends on the PBM. We have some PBMs in our state that see the value of pharmacy. And so we've been fortunate that we have a couple PBMs that really support independent pharmacy. And they talk about that with the employers that they work with and how important the pharmacies are. And a lot of it's just not, the employers just don't understand the market. So they just don't understand how PBMs are treating independent pharmacies. And so when they kind of understand that, well, if you go with this PBM, you're going to put a big strain on your local pharmacy. Most employers come back and say, well, I don't want to do that. I want to be a good partner to that because that pharmacy is important to us. So if we can continue to get those PBMs to have a seat at the table with employers, it'll continue to be in the best benefit for independent pharmacy. It's just the big 3 are good at what they do, and they're good at showing discounts. And the employers love to see, wow, this big discount, but what's it a discount off of?
Yeah.
That's where it gets challenging to get employers to see that, what's your true net.
Right.
Discounts
Mark it up to mark it down.
Discounts.
Call it a sale.
Yep.
Huh. All right. We'll take a mental break here. So do you watch Yellowstone?
I was about to ask.
No, I do not.
You do not? What?
I mean, we're having a podcast and Montana's like spray painted back to like massive across behind your head.
I keep expecting to see a big Y up there. So.
I thought about wearing my Dutton Ranch shirt, but
no.
No.
Yeah, Jeff came in and he's like, "We forgot our cowboy hats." I'm like, "I don't have one."
We should have worn. I don't have one either. We should have worn cowboy hats today. I know you talked to Chad at
Montana Pharmacy. Is it?
No, he's at Stevensville. It's a family.
Yeah, we talked to him at the winter pharmacy meeting.
and they're talking about, I guess that they're in the heart of that there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And he's like, we slap a Y on anything and it's going to sell.
Yeah.
Do you see a lot of tourism from that where you are? Now, tell us again what city you're in.
I'm in Columbus.
Okay.
Which I'm between Billings and Bozeman, kind of south central Montana.
Okay.
And Yellowstone is actually filmed in the Bitterroot Valley, down by Hamilton and Stevensville, down where Chad's at. Chad and Pete and Paul and all those guys are down in that valley. And it's huge down there because that's where the Dutton Ranch is that they're filming at.
Mm-hmm.
But we're even seeing people put the Yellowstone logo on on their for sale signs on their houses.
Wow.
Funny.
And people are buying it sight unseen just because they put a Yellowstone sign on it. It's pretty fascinating to watch. I do keep tabs on it a little bit and kind of see what's going on just because we get so many questions from out-of-state people about it. When I tell them that Kevin Costner's not actually our governor, they get pretty disappointed.
It's interesting. Well, one of the stories they told was, I guess some tourist was talking about Yellowstone, and I guess they were talking about how you need to be careful because the wild animals, and the tourist was like, they wouldn't put wild animals in a state park. It's like, okay. But it's interesting that the premise, one of the underlying antagonist themes in Yellowstone is that bringing in tourism and all this kind of stuff is going to drive up the price of things and price the locals out of things, drive up the price of taxes on the land.
It priced us out of a Big Sky
and things like that. So you see now some of that was happening before Yellowstone because Big Sky is so amazing.
COVID did a lot of that too. COVID really got
and COVID moved people. You had COVID and Yellowstone together. People wanted it simpler. What have you seen in your life as far as, not your life, in the last couple of years, as people coming in from California, building big houses? Is that a lot or is it a little? What's going on?
Oh, it's a lot. It's been fascinating this year to watch. As soon as it snows, I've never seen so many people drive with their hazards on and drive super slow. And that's how we're like, oh, that's a new person probably from California or New York or that just does not know how to drive on snow. And of course they complain about everything. I think that's the biggest problem we have is we're okay with how things are, so don't move here and complain about how you wish it would be. It's gonna snow,
right?
And you can't get upset at because the roads are icy. Sorry, that's the way it's going to be. So housing has exploded. The market here has just exploded. You can't get contractors to build. The pricing of homes has gone up. There's hardly any inventory. It's gotten better since they've raised interest rates. There's a lot more inventory, but for a while there was absolutely zero inventory in Montana for houses, and all of it was being purchased almost sight unseen from out-of-staters.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yeah,
I guess just looking at on the pictures on the.
We had a bunch of people from California move to Texas, and there's like several mom Facebook groups that I'm on for our school district areas. And they were complaining about the noises that happen that we're used to in July. And they're going, what is it? And so like a bunch of Texans are making fun of going, it's the aliens they're coming to take back. You need to leave. And it was locusts. Mm-hmm. And they're like seeing them on their fence and they're going, oh my God, what is this? And again, the Texan moms are going, it's aliens. They're going to crawl in your brain and take over. You need to leave. And so I had fun because my son wanted to go hiking and Jeff's like, cool, I'll take you. So I went with him that morning and I picked up one and I stuck it on his shirt and I was like, oh, do I dare have fun with this? Cohen's like, it's cool, it's fun. And I'm just like posting it on Facebook going, oh no, it's an alien. It's going to go into my son's brain. But yeah, you're right. They come in, they complain. They're not used to like our lifestyle or the way that we like things down here, but go home.
Yeah, we always like when it gets about 30 below for about a week because that usually takes care of it.
You start seeing some for sale signs.
Yeah,
I
ready
imagine.
to go.
I'm not. I love Montana. I'm not sure the below wind chill factor and stuff. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not. We had two beautiful blue sky days this year at Big
Nice.
Sky. It was. I mean, it was just gorgeous and
It's
probably.
like if that was going to be the last time Montana
Probably.
Pharmacy Association was
Yeah.
going to be in
What
Big
a-
Sky.
what
That
a-
was like
what
the
a-
perfect
what a treat
nod,
to say
farewell.
goodbye.
Yeah.
It was like 20 degrees.
It was beautiful
just
skiing.
gorgeous. Just gorgeous.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I did have the opportunity this year. It's always fun when it's 100-degree temperature change when you walk out the front door
What?
of the house. Yeah.
Huh.
70 inside and 35 below outside.
Oh, wow.
You don't get to do that very often.
70 is
And-
way too hot.
In the house?
Yeah.
Oh.
And it's nice to, I don't know if you've ever done this when you're here in Montana, when you're at Big Sky and it's, 0 or less, just get a really hot cup of water and throw it up in the air
Right.
and just vaporizes instantly.
I have
It's-
not done that. I've seen it.
Yep.
Yeah, seen it
but
on TikTok.
yeah.
Or something.
We see a lot of things on TikTok.
Oh, and I got a quick story for you too about the animals.
Okay.
Because you guys know Josh at Elkhorn.
Yeah.
And his sister is a tour guide out of West Yellowstone with snowmobiles into Yellowstone Park.
Okay.
I bet
And
she has
we went with her.
stories.
Yeah, we went with her one year, and we were like, "What's the craziest questions you've gotten from out of staters?" She said, "Well, she goes, I got two." She goes, "One of them was where do they put the animals at night, and how do they lock them back up?" All right, well, that's good. And the other one was they were at Old Faithful and they were shoveling the snow off the roofs because it builds up so much and the weight, and they got to shovel it off. And unfortunately, this I think was someone from Texas said, "Well, why don't they just build another roof over that roof?"
Oh, good Lord.
They're still gonna have to shovel the snow off of that roof. But,
Wow.
Yeah, it's just,
Yeah, he's the big hunter,
Fun.
right? Josh?
Yep.
The bear hunter. He hunts
Bear,
bears
elk,
too, right? Bear, elks, everything.
yeah.
Remember?
I think he does.
Yeah, he was. He was
Mm-hmm.
telling us about the bears. That
Yeah, we're talking. You've met Mark Bivins, her husband. He has this desire to cook bear meat. He wants to. He's a smoker. Smokes on the. He does
green
it
egg. Yeah,
on the
he's-
green
He's on a
egg.
green egg kick watching he even watched the master class that's on Apple, barbecue stuff. He's watched so many videos. There was even some barbecue cooking competitions on Netflix that he watched, and now it's like he just wants to smoke everything.
He'll stick with it till he does something good, but somewhere he got a hang up of wanting to smoke a beer.
Yeah.
I mean, a bear. I
He
told him
was-
he needed to call Josh.
So
Josh hook him up.
I don't like lobster, but he did lobster one time, and I'm like, okay, I like when you make lobster, and so I'm getting lobster this weekend.
Oh,
That's the big thing. Is
That's
he's actually good at doing it.
It's Marsha's
Yes.
birthday tomorrow, so we should all say
Yes,
happy
Happy
early
birthday.
birthday, since we won't see you tomorrow.
I'll be getting my lobster tomorrow.
You'll be getting your lobster. All right,
Yes,
taking it easy.
kind of. I guess I don't know.
Do you hunt? Are you a hunter?
I do.
What's your
not-
wildest hunting story?
One was we were deer hunting, and we're on a back road, and everybody's looking out the window trying to figure out early morning where we're going to go. Where's the deer?
Mm-hmm.
And I was sitting in the back seat of the pickup, and I look up, and there's a deer, nice buck, right in front of us. And the guy driving was still gawking out the window, and I'm like, hit the brakes! And it's too late, just smoked the deer. You could hear the deer go underneath us in the car. And that was the only deer we got that day was with the car, with the pickup.
Do you see a lot of bears?
I do. We get bears in our yard every year. Usually in spring and in fall, we have apple trees. So they'll come down and they'll spend 2 or 3 hours in the yard eating apples. It's actually pretty fun to watch them. They're just black bears, so they're really not a threat.
Friendlier, yeah. Have you seen any grizzlies?
No, I've never seen one around this area. Now, where Big Sky is, and you go a little bit east to Livingston and go up the valley there, they call it Paradise Valley. And that goes in, that's where all the flooding was earlier, or this past spring.
Oh yeah,
Out of Yellowstone Park.
last
But there's
summer
a
right before
road-
Connect.
And actually, I don't even know how to get to that road now because one of the bridges over Yellowstone River was completely washed away.
Mm.
But in October, we could go up that road and you go about 5 miles and you could run into about 10 grizzly bears. And they're eating grubs out of the field. So they're just digging in the dirt. They're not even paying attention to you. And whatever those grubs are must have good fat content because they are just devouring them. Right.
It must be a lot of them.
Yeah.
Be like us eating crawfish. It's going to take a while. Eating big old bear eating grubs. So, social media. You guys doing anything? Social media. What's your store doing? And is Montana Family Pharmacy doing anything? Y'all find anything new that works?
For Montana Family Pharmacies, we're not doing a lot of social media. We're having a lot of talks about what's kind of the next phase, and we're building some ideas around it. For the business side, where we are, just our local advertising. We do a lot of shout outs to our employees in the pharmacy, and we also have a grocery store. And so, just highlighting our employees and what they do, highlighting our specials. The more we found, the more we just keep it simple and relate. The social media live posts work really, really well. People don't want a bunch of stuff they can find somewhere else. So we try to make sure it just really relates to the community we're in, what's going on with the schools, with sports. That we found is just the best. It gets the most views.
Supporting the local high school teams or elementary schools.
So what other stuff? So you've got a thing you're baiting. What other kind of stuff are you guys working on this year?
What are some things that's going on with Montana Family Pharmacy?
We're kind of ramping up our sales. We're now able to expand a little bit further than our reach. We're currently have members in 8 states.
Wow.
I was about to ask. So for anybody that does not know Montana Family Pharmacy, what all states are you in?
We're in Washington, Idaho, Montana, North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, Colorado. Hopefully soon New Mexico will be in there. And we have a few other states that we're going through with some pricing comparisons right now. But we have lots in the sales channel right now.
Okay.
And we just continue to, and really we've always just grown by word of mouth. We are looking at more of a sales channel, but it's just really word of mouth what we do. We're so focused on making sure we take care of our members, and that's kind of why we got into this, was to provide just more total pharmacy service to members versus just be a buying group and have a contract. And in fact, when we talk to other buying groups, a lot of them are like, "Gosh, I wish we did more of what you do," but we don't.
So what are the things that you do that make you stand out above other buying groups?
Well, one is with Pioneer. I think that's one of the ones that actually piques people's interest the most when we talk about how we can help almost be kind of first line call center with you guys. And, people can call our offices, and if they, we go through the agreements with them that if they want to call our offices and have our team jump into Pioneer and help, we can jump in and help, especially when it comes to inventory management or ordering processes, just deeper dive, and they want more time, than they might be able to get with Pioneer at times. So it's one that kind of piques their interest of, well, we've never heard anyone of doing that in a buying group. The other side is, we have different entities that'll help you contract your employee benefits. We created an insurance program with State Farm to provide pharmacy insurance, and a much more robust than other forms out there as well. And we get better coverage, less cost. All secondary, we're trying to constantly get secondary contract pricing. We try to run really lean and mean. We try to pass back as much saving as we can to the members, because ultimately at the end of the day, that's what we're here for, is to take care of them and make sure they have more money in their pockets. So when we look at our buying analysis, I'd say on the buying side, the analysis that we do, I've yet to see anyone in the market do what we do. A true line by line, apples to apples comparison. We're not changing package sizes or to show a better savings, because I don't know if you're going to change from a 30 count to a 500 or 1,000 count. So I'm just going to price it at our 30 count price. We don't make any manipulations on changing outside of the GPI or the therapeutic range, where I've seen other entities do that. And sometimes it's not by fault; it's just lack of understanding that, hey, this isn't an AB rated drug that can be substituted, and it's really cheap, so I'm going to use it in the analysis and kind of manipulate the numbers. And then we try to be super conservative on even that approach. So we want to show a baseline that, yeah, we can save you this, and we know you're going to see that, versus show a great big number and pharmacists go, well, actually, I didn't really see any savings. And that's the feedback we get a lot, is people say, yeah, we switched from this group or to this group, but we don't ever see any of the savings. And then when they switch to our group, it's typically the savings is definitely better than what you showed me. And that's what we want. We want them to experience that, yep, I'm truly saving money on this contract versus where I was before.
What about PSAO? Are most of your members contracting themselves, or are they just whichever PSAO they want to be in? What are you guys doing for that? Yeah,
we have PioneerRx as a preferred PSAO. We don't mandate that you use them. We still have stores using other PSAOs, and that's okay. We do have a long-term strategy in play with a line that we're working through. They had quite the undertaking of trying to merge the two PPOK and Arete together, and I think that proved to be a little bit more challenging than they thought. But they're really starting to pull out of that now, and so we just have some strategies there on how we can better work together. We continue to go direct to PBMs to try to build relationships, asking what they need to help them be more relevant in the market. But at the end of the day, the PBMs are competing with each other. So they're looking for differentiators. So how can we be a better support to them and have a better story when they go in and talk to an employer? So just continuing to try to look at different angles.
How would you respond to somebody who says there's too many PSAOs in the independent pharmacy space?
Oh, I 100% agree. There should be one.
That's like that. Everybody who says there should be one says mine. All right.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's true.
Yeah. They're always.
Everybody should just join our PSAO.
I truly believe it should be wholesaler agnostic, and that's no knock on the wholesaler. But a wholesaler is designed to sell drugs. That's their core business, and not accepting a PBM contract means you're not selling drugs. So they can tell us all day long that that they don't think that way, they don't contract that way, but the perception's always going to be there, and you're never going to get away from that perception. So yeah, I would be fine with whoever it is. I think the PBMs are going to continue to make that really difficult. More and more PBMs are trying to go direct to pharmacies because the technology is allowing them to manage contracts and individual pharmacies easier than it used to be 10 years ago. So yeah, it's truly going to take a whole commitment of independent pharmacies together to say, hey, we are actually going to go through this. And we might have PBMs say they don't want to contract with us, and we have to be willing to let those go as we build that, or as whoever built that. And then as the network got big enough, the PBMs would come back to the table. Because they would need that access.
You just imagine them every year, they just turn in the dial down and say, hey, as long as I get the network I need, I'm just going to keep each year just turning the dial down. I'm just going to pay less and less and less and less. And well, you're paying too little. No, I still have a network. They're still taking it. They're still doing it. So, in order to do that, you got to be a bigger group. Pharmacies have got to join one. I don't know if you have the PSAOs join, or you try to have some kind of big effort where you get everybody to go to one PSAO. But, and then you almost need to do like, okay, this year we're not going to do Express Scripts. We're just not going to, you're just out.
Oh, and I think Kroger really is setting the stage for more and more of that, hopefully. And that one's going to be fun to watch, because Kroger and ESI, like I said earlier, they have a rebate aggregator company that they're partnering on.
So what does that mean? What is a rebate aggregator that they're partnering on?
That it's the entity they're using to negotiate rebates with the manufacturers.
Okay.
So they own that entity together, and Prime Therapeutics is involved in that. And So they're doing a lot of business with Express Scripts on that side, and I'm sure they're making a healthy margin off of those rebates and what they retain and don't pass back. So it was really shocking to me when Kroger told Express Scripts, "We're out. We're not going to contract with you on the commercial side at all. Medicare side, we're just going to totally walk away from it." And then Kroger went to their shareholders and said, "This is a $1 billion plus contract that we are exiting." And they said it should have zero or very slight impact to our total net profit at the end of the year. What I think will happen is Kroger will come back and they'll actually post better savings over the course of this year.
Mm-hmm.
And they'll come back and say, actually, it was a better decision than we thought by exiting the Express Scripts network. And we actually ended up finding more savings opportunities by either limiting staff or being more efficient and not having a contract that we lose money on every single drug.
Yeah, and as a Kroger, those people are still probably coming to get their groceries there, right? They're probably not, just because I can't get my prescription here doesn't mean I'm not getting my groceries here. So they didn't, that stayed. Kroger's not accepting ESI today?
Yep. As of the first of the year, that could still change. We've seen that before. They get 3 months into it and they both come to an agreement and everything moves forward.
Did you see ASI come back with better contracts to try to extend to other people that have rejected their contracts, or they just decided they needed a smaller network?
Yeah, no, they did go back to other pharmacies, and especially with TRICARE, once Kroger said we're out, and then they were in trouble in some of these areas and they needed more network. But the contracts they still put out in front of those entities they're just a no-win contract. And I think they understand that pharmacies care for people, and especially for our active duty, retired military, we all have a soft spot for them. And they use that to their advantage to say, here's a horrible contract, sign it. We sign it, and because we don't want to tell that military person we can't accept your plan. Like, it just breaks our heart to actually do that, to go in and say.
Yeah, but then you're losing drug on everything. You're losing money on everything you fill.
Yeah.
It's got to be.
It goes back to independence. Like, we truly care. We truly want to make a difference. We truly want to, take care of people. And so we do things to our detriment. And every owner out there is going, yep. We do. I've done that.
Are y'all going to have a booth at Catalyst Connect? How'd that go for y'all last year? They had a booth last year, right?
We did not have a booth.
We did not.
Okay.
We did not. We had one buying group, I think. Yeah, one buying group. But
we are trying to put that together to do. So yes, we do want to be there.
So last year they had several people that were coming to connect, but y'all had the flooding.
Oh yeah.
Because Twyla called me and she's like, "Okay, this is what's going on. Right, I'm going to help Mike because your mother's house was in danger." And Twyla was calling to let me know that she was going to help you and some other people sandbag up your mom's house. So
yeah, we didn't have to sandbag their house. We didn't know exactly what was going to happen. The riverbank held on their side.
Nice.
If it wouldn't have held, my brother and my parents potentially would have lost their house or had severe flooding. They both had water in their basements and had to pump it out. Nothing too severe. They were really fortunate. We had some friends that lost their entire house, went down the river.
Oh my goodness.
But the river, it was amazing to watch the power of Mother Nature, the river, the Stillwater River that is the valley we're in, and the record high ever recorded record high was 12,000 cubic feet per second. And it crested during this flooding at over 24,000 cubic feet per second.
Wow.
So it wasn't
That's
like it broke the
nuts.
record. It doubled the record.
Just slaughtered it.
Mm-hmm.
Huh.
Yeah.
So now Montana Family Pharmacy has its show. Y'all just had your show end of July, right after after the big 3 wholesaler shows. But y'all are not doing your show this year. You've moved it to April, May, because I talked to Danny.
Yep.
So
what we want in 2023? They're moving it early in the year.
Yeah, doing it earlier in the year, and going to be Coeur d'Alene again, I believe.
Going to be back in Coeur d'Alene 2024. So we didn't want to do a 6 kind of it would have been a 6 to 8 month turnaround. So we're going to take 2023 off. 2023 is kind of a year we're really focusing on webinars. Right now we're in an accounting pharmacy accounting series webinar. We're going to be doing a bunch of track and trace stuff as we continue to prep for that. And then really also diving into cash flow. How do you build cash flow this year to be prepared for 2024 when DIR fees go to point of sale? So we're really that's going to be our entire focus, is almost a webinar every week for our members, educational. We record them. The ones that allow us to record them, we record them so that they can continue to access them and gain feedback, or if they can't make it, they can watch it. So 2024, I think we're first week of May back in Coeur d'Alene.
Okay.
And then we're going to be shooting for that April-May timeframe. Seems to be a nice pause from a lot of other pharmacy events during that time period.
The first week of May historically is a Symbia.
Right, which is specialty.
Yeah.
And we don't have a lot of specialty
right.
In our group. And the other side of that is we have a lot of young owners in our group. And they have kids and they're in football, or some of our members coach football.
Yeah.
And so we start going into fall, and fall starts to get really challenging for everyone too. So April has always been good for us. So we're kind of moving back to that. And we got off track with COVID.
Yep.
We had to cancel a couple. Like you
that's
guys
right.
did.
Y'all's first one was April of 2020, and it got postponed, and it was pushed to 2021.
Yeah, and that was too bad, because that was at a beautiful place in Paradise Valley, where the Yellowstone River, right on the Yellowstone River.
Huh.
And we rented the entire lodge for our group, but we've since outgrown it, so we won't probably be able to ever go back.
Won't be able to go back.
So is kind of Coeur d'Alene going to be the spot, or will y'all kind of move around, or?
We'll probably be in Billings every other year, since that's really our base, and it's much easier for us, and people really like the downtown area of Billings, so we'll probably do Billings and then be somewhere else.
Is that the one we went to? Was in Billings? Yeah.
Yep.
Now, have you played I remember, correct me if I'm wrong, but you like to do a golf tournament beforehand.
We do.
So have you played the Coeur d'Alene course?
Is that the one that has the hole?
Floating hole.
The floating hole?
The 18th hole is floating in the lake. And they, from my understanding, it's in one of 2 locations. And right before you tee off, they tell you which card to go off of.
Yep. So yeah, the floating green is on a cable system, so they can actually pull it in closer or let it
go out further.
Oh, really? Is that
you got to jump? You got to jump in a boat to get there after you hit your tee shots. I think it's hole number 16.
Oh, I thought it was 18.
Yeah, no, it's
16.
Not the 18.
Okay.
Is that a good hole? Is that a good course?
Gorgeous.
Gorgeous.
Yeah, I might have to send Mark and Daniel to that one, and that's just their golf trip, and they do the sales trip. Since they're on a let's find a golf trip each year, because Coeur d'Alene is on their list.
They can knock out both of those together.
Yeah.
And speaking of reservations, there's also a reservation outside of Coeur d'Alene, and they have a golf course that's absolutely gorgeous as well.
Is that the one that's like frisbee golf?
Nope.
It's disc golf. Wait, which one is it?
No, it's regular. He said the regular golf. Oh, there's disc golf there as well? Is that what you're saying in Coeur d'Alene?
Well, okay, so the first time we ever went to Coeur d'Alene was the Northwest Pharmacy Association, which happens the end of May, beginning of June. And it was in Coeur d'Alene. So that was my first time and only time ever in Coeur d'Alene. But Jeff had the bright idea to get all of us to go whitewater rafting. It was so cold.
It was, you just weren't dressed. It was great.
They put us in 3M suits and booties, and it was still cold. And we go through this one valley, and they're like, just keep your heads down because there's a golf course up there, and it's disc golf. And we're seeing the disc and
flying across.
Yeah, that wouldn't be good to get hit in the head.
No.
I'm like, cold water, disc flying in my head. I'm not sure this is a great idea.
Yeah, you took the city girl, and
I'm okay to go whitewater rafting, just not when the water's like.
Was that your first? That was your first whitewater rafting
First
ever?
whitewater
Yeah.
ever. Yeah. First whitewater rafting, and
She was thinking water, warm. No, it's
Yeah. Well, not entirely. I knew that it'd be colder from the snow melting, and that's what it was getting its temperature. So, yeah.
Yeah, end of May, early June, the rivers are a little chilly.
yeah, but they're moving. That's when they're moving.
Yeah.
Right. You go into July and they're not moving. So,
Yeah.
what's fun about that? Huh.
That's right. We actually, during that flooding, there was a lot of people coming around with their kayaks and throwing them in.
Little X Games going on.
Going. I hope you're really good at kayaking, or we may never see you again.
Had their helmets. Yeah, it's great. Yeah, you do see the kayakers. Some of those kayakers are crazy. But they're just like, they got the helmet on and they like flip over and they just flip back and they just kind of boop, boop, so going over the waterfalls and all that kind of stuff. So I guess it's just a lot safer.
I don't know. Yeah. But
Yeah, if you're really experienced, I think it's okay. But there was so much debris. That's one where
I can't see that being safe with the debris.
Propane tanks floating down the river, and
Wow.
garages and carports. It was wild just watching all the debris go down.
Well, Mike, I think we're running out of time. Glad we got to see you today
Yes,
since we
that is
missed
our
you
hour.
in
Big Sky
January.
in January.
So
Yeah,
And,
and hopefully, if you guys are open for it in a couple months, we'll maybe
I
try
think
to do another one.
that'd be
Love
great.
to talk about what we're doing, and I'll probably have one of our partner entities join me. I think it would be really fun to have us on there and talk about what we're doing.
No,
and,
super
and the
interested
model.
in that subscription model and really trying to figure out, as a company, we're trying to figure out how we can help pharmacy disrupt. We need a disruption, right? You know that Troy always says, if you got a bad hand, reshuffling is a good idea. It doesn't, just, hey, let's just reshuffle the deck. We need a disruption. And thinking about new models and totally just thinking out of the box and kind of stuff. So,
Yep.
yeah, it'd be super. We'll have to do that.
Yeah, and we would love to see you guys at Connect and have a booth and get more members signed up. So I'll work with Danny.
Yeah, no, I know we've already blocked it all off on our calendar, so we're looking forward to it. I have never been to Nashville.
Never been to Nashville.
I've never.
Now it's
Wow.
us.
So we're gonna bring the kids, and
Yeah, because
everyone's gonna come
it's at
out,
it's at the Gaylord Opryland, and they just like a few years ago, right before the pandemic, opened up that massive indoor pool that goes to the outside with all the big water
They
slides.
got all these water slides that
Yeah.
go in and outside, and they
It's
got the
almost
lazy
like
river.
Great Wolf
that's-
Lodge.
That there's
Very cool.
There's some cool zip lining
Oh,
outside
yeah.
of Nashville, so you should definitely do that up in the mountains and the trees and stuff. I don't know if you have a lot of zip lining in Montana. Maybe you do.
Big Sky.
Big Sky, no, but it's like one. That Big Sky is like one line or something like that.
I've never done it, so
But
Yeah.
Nashville is a fun town. So
yeah,
Yes.
I'm looking forward to it.
go see the Parthenon. They had a state fair there at some point, or a national
long time
national
ago.
fair a long time ago, and they built a replica of a bunch of different stuff. And the Parthenon was so
it's
cool they
Centennial
left it.
Park. Yeah.
Oh, cool.
And so there's actual replica of the Parthenon that you can go through, which is super cool.
Well, what's really cool is they've put like some history inside that tells you how the Parthenon came to be there, along with some Greek mythology architecture and facts in there too. So
In that park was an amazing barbecue hole in the wall called Hog Heaven that COVID killed. So
oh yeah,
still upset about that.
so sad.
All right. Well, good seeing you, and
you so
we look
much,
forward to
Mike.
seeing you next time.
Okay, thanks.
All right.
Have a good day.
Bye,
Bye.
Mike.
Bye.
Thank you for watching the Catalyst Pharmacy podcast.
If you enjoyed today's episode,
Please like, subscribe, and follow us wherever you get your podcast.
Give us a 5-star rating on Apple Podcasts to help us reach more pharmacy professionals like you.